Right now, there's a pretty ridiculous trend going on where if something flops, be it movie, game, or show, the immediate response from those behind the production is to get mad at the audience and blame them for it, saying that either they were too stupid to appreciate it, or they weren't real fans willing to support it, or they just told a story that was too hot to handle and people weren't ready for it. Thus, once again, we didn't fail. Our product's not bad. You guys are just turbo idiots that prevented us from the success that we deserved. And I'm just getting so tired of reading this. Every time something flops, this seems to be the go-to dialogue tree on the NPC quest line here. And it's just really, really starting to grind my ass. It just happened with The Witcher because Season 3 was a disaster. Full disclosure, I haven't watched Season 3. I just couldn't even pretend to be interested, so I haven't bothered with Season 3. But there was recently a statement made that the reason Season 3 hasn't done well is because they had to simplify everything because American audiences are too dumb, basically. And something very similar just happened with Marvel's Secret Invasion like a week ago, where the finale aired and pretty much everyone said, "Oh brother, this stinks." They were just saying, "Boo, boo," and throwing tomatoes. It wasn't well received. Most people hated it on a show that already didn't have many eyes on it to begin with, so it was just kind of a catastrophe. And the director behind it came out and once again just kind of blamed the audience and started pointing his finger, even having the gall to say that it's not his job to fulfill any expectations, and he doesn't read any of the reviews, so he doesn't really care if people didn't like it. Which I guess is fine. It's not exactly like the, puffed out chest alpha male thing that he thinks it is. It just kind of reads like you definitely did see the negative reviews and you're in defense mode. No one's forcing you to read any criticism of your show if you don't want to see what the fans are saying about it. No one's gonna peel open your eyes and sit you down strapped to a chair to watch all of the reviews come in. So it's fine if you don't read them, but why then just say that it's not your job to fulfill expectations and you don't care? I think you're pretending that you don't care. I think you definitely do, and if you don't, you should to some extent, at the very least. I don't expect any director to come forward and be totally honest, "Hey guys, look, this shit sucks. I really blew it, huh? Yikes, yucko, this was no good, huh?" I don't expect that. You should still have pride in your work, but you can at least take some level of responsibility and be like, "Hey guys, look, there was a story I really wanted to tell here, and I see that it's not resonating with a lot of the audience, and I'm sorry if I let some fans down with this, but this is my vision for the project, and this is where I wanted to take it." I think that's far more respectful than saying, "You guys are all dumb, and I didn't listen to you, don't care." I'm just really tired of seeing this attitude where the director or the team behind a production gets mad at the audience for not liking it, or not going out there to support it if it didn't capture their interest beforehand. This isn't just, The Witcher and Marvel Secret Invasion. This has been happening quite a bit. You see the director's Secret Invasion said about the negative reception. He actually said, "Is it our job to fulfill their expectations?" No, I didn't see that. I'll look it up real quick, but directors are just getting really bold with how they handle bad reception. I can't remember who it was recently, but another flop had their director come out and say, "Yeah, we wanted this. In fact, this is what we were hoping for." I was what do you mean? You wanted it to fail? What? What the fuck are you talking about? Secret Invasion director doesn't care if you like the show or not. That headline goes so hard. You see, when it comes to Marvel shows, it's not about liking it. It's about just watching it because you're too deep already. Just consume for the sake of consume. You don't need to like it. Despite the resoundingly negative response to the scroll-based series, Marvel Secret Invasion director Ali Salim has admitted that he does not feel bad about the show's poor reception, particularly as he believes the devoted, even rabid nature of the franchise's fanbase does not lend itself to productive discussion around its various entries. So because they're devoted, they can't have a real discussion around it? I think there's merit to saying that a fan base can be way too brainwashed and hive mind for a real discussion to take place. But that's not even what this is about. It's just people, everybody unanimously did not like the finale. Oh, I don't read reviews. With all due respect, for me, I view all the storytelling work I do as a dialogue with an audience. When the show is finished and put up on screen, that's my half of the dialogue, and the audience then starts their half of their response to it. I think that's valuable, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question. What the fuck? This is like a direct contradiction. So if you don't read the reviews, then you're not even listening to their part of their response of the dialogue. So you give half the dialogue and then plug your ears to their half? What the fuck are you talking about, man? How is that productive discussion? It's like the exact opposite of a conversation at that point. All you want to do is give your half and walk away. And then, I guess, get upset. I don't feel bad about mixed reviews. If you had unanimously good reviews, every movie would gross $10 billion trillion, right? Projects resonate with different people at different times for different reasons, and Marvel has a very devoted, even rabid fan base who have expectations. When their expectations aren't fulfilled, they move in the other direction. They give it a thumbs down. I don't know. Is it our job to fulfill their expectations, or to tell the story that we're telling? So it's a tricky thing. I would love if everyone loved it, but I also don't have that expectation of myself, so I feel great about the response to it. What are you saying? What are you saying? The expectation would be to make something good. Like, yeah, you don't have to, like, follow the most predictable shit ever, but at least make good on the expectation that you'll try. And then at least listen to feedback, instead of say, I don't read the reviews, and then say they can't have a productive discussion. I think the best thing you could have done is just been like, you guys didn't like it? Whatever. It's the story I wanted to tell. And be like, okay, that's totally fair. If this is the story you wanted to tell, by all means. I just don't understand the point of getting, like, combative and condescending about it. Like, yeah, you guys, it's not my job to fulfill your expectations. So what? I don't read your reviews. I gave you my half of the dialogue, you gave me a response, and I didn't listen. That was the transaction. I just don't find this response from the director to be sensible at all. Like, it just doesn't compute in my little noodle up here. You gain nothing from being this combative and aggressive with the audience. And there's certainly nothing to be proud of with not listening to them or reading any feedback or anything like that. Why do you want to exist in like an echo chamber or some kind of sensory deprivation unit where you don't get any outside stimulation or input on the thing that you would supposedly be very proud of making? I just really don't get it. There's nothing to be patted on the back for. Fuck all of you, I don't listen to anyone. Woo! Wow! Yahoo! Wee! That's so strong! He doesn't listen to anybody! Whoa! Like, it's just, again, I don't get it. That's not something to be proud of, that you only, like, take in shit from yes men and yourself alone. But anyway, I won't linger on this for too much longer. Let's talk about The Witcher now, because like I said, a very similar situation just happened. A producer on The Witcher came forward and explained why the plot was simplified, and their explanation is once again just kind of the blame game. So they said, a series is made for a huge mass of viewers with different experiences from different parts of the world, and a large part of them are Americans. In fact, he said they are necessary. When referring to plot simplifications, that was the whole thing. He's trying to give insight on why the narrative of The Witcher is significantly more watered down and less complex than it is in the books. And his argument is basically, you have to boil it down to the bare necessities, only the essentials, pure emotions, because Americans are probably watching, and those are some absolute fucking idiots, I suppose. He mainly points to things like TikTok and short-form content as kind of deteriorating the attention span of viewers, so he needs to make it more simple for them and more digestible, baby the audience, because the Americans are so used to just jumping from video to video. And to a certain extent, I understand what he's saying. I do agree that the attention span of the average person has deteriorated to a level I don't think the Lord could have ever predicted. We have the shortest attention span ever right now, shorter than it's ever been because of things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and stuff like that, I imagine. But I completely disagree that this means you need to dumb everything down. In fact, I think most of the evidence points to the contrary, that the more complex you make something, the more successful it can become. The best example I can think of is Game of Thrones, because this actually did both. It had very complex narrative, very complex characters, and then it dumbed itself down, and the dumb part, seasons 8 and 7, were horribly received. So bad, in fact, that it ruined the entire legacy of the show. Seasons 1 through 6, where it focused on a complex story, world, and characters, people loved and cherished, and it was the biggest show at the time, and still one of the biggest shows ever made, because of that foundation it built. But in seasons 7 and 8, the entire team got hit by the orb of confusion and just went, fuck it. We'll make everything super dumb and super simple so we can wash our hands with this and move on. And the rest is history. Everybody hated it. Point is, I disagree that you have to boil everything down to appeal to the dummies in the world, and that's like the only way for success. I think the opposite is true. The more nuanced and complex you make a show, the better chance it has of succeeding, because I think that's what the majority of people want to watch. They're not here looking for someone to just collide action figures together and make loud noises. I don't think those are the most popular productions. So to me, this feels like cope from the Witcher producer here, like saying that you find it painful to have to simplify the plot and that showrunners have to make these decisions and accept them because the higher level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range and it won't reach people, is just wrong. Like, I don't think you're correct in that assumption there. I think most of the evidence points to the contrary, that the more nuanced and more complex you make a show, the more successful and more appreciated it is. Some of the best shows of all time and most successful shows of all time are the ones that are complex and nuanced with really interesting, deep characters and a narrative that is very intriguing and complex. So I don't understand exactly why he thought that this was a necessary and painful decision that they had to make for the success of the show, when clearly it didn't work and wasn't working anyway. Like, you could have still just stuck with the complex narrative of the book, and I think you would have stood a much better chance. I don't understand why we've reached this point where all of it's everyone else's fault. You ultimately were the ones that made the decision to say, let's simplify this and make it silly. That's on you. You made a gamble that people would prefer something really simple. Good guy, good. Bad guy, bad. Nothing else? Okay, I clap now. You made that decision expecting that possible response and you didn't get it. It's not anyone else's fault but your own. I don't know why you're putting the blame on Americans and their attention span not being conducive to a significant narrative full of nuance and complexity. It's just a matter of just taking responsibility. Just be like, hey guys, look, honestly, we thought by simplifying this we'd reach a broader audience, and it didn't work. It seems like we simplified it too much and it didn't convey the artistic vision that we were hoping for. Like, I just don't think you need to then say things like, it's those damn Americans and their lack of ability to comprehend complexity, which is why we were forced to make the painful decision, the necessary evil, to dumb everything down. Like, it's just silly. It's just silly to once again start pointing the finger at the audience. Like, you guys are dumb, you made us do this. And now we failed because you guys are so dumb. Again, not anyone's fault but your own. If you had just stuck with the complex narrative of the books that it's all based on, even if it didn't succeed in the biggest way that you'd imagine, you could at least hold your head up high knowing that you delivered the artistic vision that you set out to do, because the way you talk about it now makes it feel like even you dislike the final product by calling it painful that you had to simplify it and that it was necessary to make such a difficult decision. So it seems like you are also not happy with the state of The Witcher. So why not just deliver the creative vision that was set out in the books that it's based on, instead of try to play the numbers game and appeal to dumb people or whatever the thought process was with the oversimplification of everything? Again, stop pointing the finger. Just take responsibility. You made a bad call, and the product is subpar for it. It is what it is. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because this is only increasing in frequency. Again, The Witcher and Marvel Secret Invasion are not the only two that have done this recently. This is becoming pretty common for the teams behind productions to get angry at audience reception or any kind of like criticism around their products. And it's just getting kind of tiresome how aggressive that landscape has become. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya.